My dad used a word when I was in Scotland. I didn't know what the word was. In fact, I wanted to check it to see if it's a real word because an accident with my car and I hit something on the road and my dad said, "Oh, you hit you hit a culvert." I said, "A culvert? What's that?" I said, "I've never heard this word before in my life." A, a tunnel carrying a stream or open drain under a road. Open drain. So this is where there's a space in the road where all the water goes when it rains. Culvert. Yeah, I'd never heard. The word drain is what most people use, Drain, but my father used the word Oh, you hit a culvert. I was like, what? What's that? A drain in the road. Basically, there was no concrete at the side of the road, but there was this, yeah, and I hit that with my car. Yeah, yeah, because the road was just there was no side of the road. It's just earth, right? And so the earth moved back and back and back and back and back, and the culvert came out into the road. And as I went round the corner, I hit it, and it took a huge piece out of the tire of my car. Yeah, it was a country road. A country road. It was a country road. It was late at night. It was dark. There were no lines on the road. It was snowing. Imagine the worst of the worst possible situations to be driving down a road that you don't really know in a car that is not your car. Uh, it cut a piece of the tire out of the tire. Well, the first thing I did was control the car because the car went all over the road. Then I stopped the car at the side of the road. Then I went to the back of the. Okay, what next? Because it wasn't my car; it was a hired car from a company. So you don't expect these kinds of problems, right? The problems happen, shit happens, right? But you don't expect it to be so bad. Anyway, you don't expect it to be in the middle of nowhere in the Scottish Highlands as well. Uh, in the snow, in the cold, when it's dark, and there's no signal for your phone, so that's just perfect. Uh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm living in a horror movie. Oh no! What next? What next? Vampires will be asking for directions, or I don't know. Girls with red eyes will appear, or UFOs will land, or something. I don't know. Just expect the unexpected. So I went to the back of the car and opened up the boot of the car and lifted up the back where spare tire. There's nothing there. It's just like an empty space. I was like, well, it's an empty space and it's a little box. So I opened up the box and there was like a little package of glue. Glue, right? Well, I don't know if they expect me to to stick the missing part to go find the missing part of the tire and then stick it back on and then fill it up with air and try to continue driving down the road. Whoever thought of this idea didn't. Yeah, I mean, you could probably use it for a school project, right? But that's about it. It's not going. It's not going to hold the, the tire together when a large piece of the tire is missing. It's crazy. So if you imagine me going round a corner in the dark, and it's like it was like an SUV, right? And I hit that, going around the corner. It's the and it was just that height where it was under because it was an SUV. The SUV's higher up, so it didn't hit the car at all. It just hit that part of the tire. If it was a car, it would have taken out the front of the car. And then it was on the edge of this big hill. I can imagine just a car going off down the hill, and that would not be cool. You could theoretically continue to drive, but I had still had half an hour to drive, and that would completely destroy the wheel driving like that. So you can't drive. So no, I left the car at the side of the road and walked to the nearest house, which was about 5 or 10 minutes. Which is great because it could have been an hour. It could have been right in the middle of the Highlands. I was lucky that it was only 5 or 10 minutes, and knocked on the door and said, "Excuse me, could you help me, please? I've just had an accident with my car, and I have no signal on my phone, and I need to call somebody. Could I possibly use your phone?" "Yes, come in, sit down. Would you like a cup of coffee? Like a glass of whiskey?" I was like, "No whiskey, thank you very much." Because I was in shock after the whole thing happening, right? Because it's the middle of nowhere, and I was just holding my cup of coffee with my hand shaking. "Sure you don't want the whiskey?" I'm like, "No, I'll be fine. I'll be fine."
Exactly like in horror movie.
Oh yeah, and the guy, this old man comes to the door. "Ah, that's no problem. Come in, sit down. What can I get for you? How can I help you?" And this,
Just wait, I bring my knife.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes, I just have to feed the dogs, or what, whatever. That is scary. The guy was drunk as well, but he was very helpful. It was very nice. It's interesting how I think I mentioned this maybe already. How helpful we are to people that we don't know sometimes. Sometimes we're more helpful to people that we don't know than people that we do know. Like this guy didn't know me at all. I just knocked on his door, and he was extremely helpful and
Yeah.
did everything that he could to help me. I even left I went back to the car and drove the car into his driveway, and left it there because I didn't want to leave it at the side of the road because another car could hit it or something like that. That wouldn't be very good. Um, Left the car in his driveway and left the key with him as well in case there were any problems. And eventually called my father, who was drunk as well.
Oh,
It's,
Scotland.
it's Scotland. What do you expect? Yes, it's the Highlands of Scotland. Nothing ever happens. You expect you don't expect these kinds of emergencies. You know, after 5:30, everything's closed, so and it's dark and it's cold.
You
So
have to enjoy stuff.
yeah, you have to find some light in the darkness, uh, which are bottles of strong brown liquid with caramel flavoring that they call whiskey, or caramel colouring at least. Ah, yes. Have a glass of whiskey? No, nope. That's going to be great because I'm going to call the insurance company, and the insurance company is going to call the police, and the police are going to come. The first thing the police are going to do is, right, have you been drinking? Well, not before the accident. Can you imagine how bad that would look, right? "Oh, you're nervous. Have a couple of whiskeys." Okay, and then the police arrive and test you to see if you're drunk or not. Oh my God. What that would be terrible. Right. Yeah. It's like someone took a knife and just
Yeah,
cut
yeah.
cut that
So
part out.
good.
Well, it's also it's look it's we're looking at something which is only this big, right?
Mhm.
The car comes round the corner.
Yeah, and have some.
It's cold, it's dark, it's wet, there's snow on the ground, you can't see where the edge of the road is. And so that was the difference between having an accident and not having an accident, like half a centimeter.
Mhm.
But whatever was in that half a centimeter was really sharp and just took out everything that was there. Because the first thing that I thought was I thought I hit a rock or something. And then I looked at the wheel and I thought, the rock is not going to do that to the wheel of the car. It has to be something more solid because the rock is just going to bounce away. So when I went back the next day to pick up the car, I dr- drove with my father along that part of the road and we had to look at, see if what was there. You know, what did I hit on that part of the road? And the only thing was this concrete drain that was there. So it was obviously that I hit. That much was that was the difference between. And also looking at that road, that's a really dangerous part of the road, and you don't expect that there on that. I'm not saying it's not my fault. It's obviously my fault because I had the accident, but it's really crazy that just at that point on that corner in that weather with that car at that time, I hit that. Uh, and the lucky thing was two lucky things. The first lucky thing was when I arrived in Edinburgh, there was snow everywhere.
Snow.
Snow, yeah, there was snow everywhere. But I was, it's like no, I thought I left it all. I thought I left it all behind. It's supposed to stay. It's supposed to stay in Slovakia. You're not supposed to follow me. And yeah, yeah. Oh, oh yeah, from from one fire out of one fire straight into another fire, and I was thinking, this is the lowlands, and I have to drive through the highlands, and there's this much snow in the lowlands, and it was snowing as well when I arrived, and I was thinking, I want a bigger car, right? I don't want to be driving through the highlands in a small car. I want a bigger car, so I upgraded the car. That was the first thing, and then it's quite possible that upgrading the car either A caused the accident because the car was bigger than what I was used to driving, or even though I drive a very big car anyway, or the car saved my life because if a smaller car had hit that,
Mhm.
then the car would have been destroyed. I think. You know, you asked me how fast I was going. No idea. You know, just there was nothing else on that area of road, and maybe I was going a little bit faster than normal, but don't think so. I don't know how fast is too fast. I wasn't, because I was driving through the Highlands. I remember looking at the speed and thinking, in Slovakia I would be driving faster. Why am I driving slower? Not sure, but I remember thinking that. It's the perfect storm. The perfect storm is when you have three storms that come together to make one giant storm. It doesn't happen very often. It's a film with George Clooney called The Perfect Storm. If you haven't seen it, I checked. I checked this yesterday. It was made in the year 2000, so it's now old. It's about 17 years old, but it's a really, really good film. It's about a group of fishermen who have a boat and they go out to catch fish in the perfect storm, and it's a crazy film. Oh no, it's a true story. It's a true story about what happened
Yeah,
to
but it's like three storms. And
three
they are
storms.
connected.
Yeah, three storm. When three storms come together to make one giant storm, which happens sometimes, they call it the perfect storm. And it was like the perfect storm because all of the things that could be bad were bad. It was a long journey. I was tired. It was a different car. Uh, it was wet. It was snowing. There was snow on the road. Um, there were no road markings. This thing
No
shoot.
light signal.
The,
Mobile.
there was no signal on the mobile. There was no spare tire in the car. The the whole situation was totally crazy. Um, it couldn't have been more crazy, I don't think, than it was. Um, there's one other thing. One other thing. You know how some modern cars have got sensors to tell you if you're too much to the left or too much to the right. They go beep beep beep, or the wheel vibrates. Yeah.
Everything just shouting.
Yeah. Okay, it's obviously designed for blind blonde women, right? Kind that drive at night while wearing sunglasses. Um, to to they're always looking in their bag for their makeup, so it's got to
For mirrors.
or mirrors. Looking for a mirror. There's one there and one there and one there and one there.
Life is beautiful.
Yeah, cars are full of mirrors. What are you talking about? Right. Um, oh, can I use your mirror? Driving! So, I forgot what I was saying.
No, these sensors.
Oh, the sensors, thank you. So, as I was going up the road, every time I was too close to the line on this side, the car would go zzzz. Every time I was too close on this side, the car would go zzzz. And I think that turned off my brain. Because you stop focusing. Because you don't have to. Because the car starts to focus for you. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right? Because if you're driving the car, you're focused on, keep it on the road, keep it on the road. But if the car tells you every time, your brain kind of switches off and it's like, oh, well, the car will tell me if I'm too much to the left or too much to the right. Yeah, it's interesting. The only accident that I've ever had is in a car with sensors, right? Yeah, they probably help someone who's not very good.
In driving.
But if you are relatively good at doing the activity, then it's not any help at all.